All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today we're going to follow what I like to call the ultimate hero's journey of data. We're mapping out the exact path to move from basic static spreadsheets all the way up to building fully interactive, cloud-hosted visualizations. If you have ever felt that absolute sense of dread looking at endless rows and columns, just wondering what the numbers actually mean, well, you are in exactly the right place.
Here is our roadmap for today. We're covering Section 1, Beyond the Excel Spreadsheet. Section 2, the Power BI Ecosystem. Section 3, Importing and Modeling Data. Section 4, Building Dynamic Visualizations. And finally, Section 5, Publishing Your Dashboard. Let's get right to it. Section 1, Beyond the Excel Spreadsheet. To truly understand where we're headed, we first got to pay a little respect to the beloved mentor we're leaving behind, the tool that pretty much built the modern business world. So, why do we actually need to move beyond Excel? I mean, since the 1980s, Excel has absolutely dominated the industry. Its original goal was just to let analysts store and calculate data in rows and columns. And honestly, it's done a heck of a job at that. But over the years, as managers started demanding more complex, high-level dashboards so they didn't have to get lost in the weeds of the spreadsheets themselves, we really have to ask ourselves this critical question: why change now? Well, consider this. 1 billion. Excel boasts over 1 billion monthly users right now. That is an incredible, almost unfathomable number. It's an amazing tool for rows and columns, for sure. But when you try forcing a spreadsheet to act like a dynamic dashboard, you run into massive headaches. Users start dragging stuff all over the screen. Those drop-down menus that look so simple on the surface, they actually require this fragile web of hidden formulas behind the scenes just to function. And version control, trying to figure out which emailed file is actually the most up-to-date, is a complete nightmare. This idea brilliantly illustrates the solution. Think of a 1981 DeLorean. Analytical dashboards actually draw their inspiration from car dashboards. Think about it for a second. A car's dashboard gives you all your crucial insights, like speed and fuel, unified in one quick glance without you ever having to look at the engine. A data dashboard should do exactly the same thing for a business. So the crucial point here is the contrast between these two tools. To solve this whole dashboard problem, Microsoft released Power BI back in 2013. Power BI replaces those fragile spreadsheet formulas with simple drag-and-drop visuals. You literally just pull a field onto the canvas, and the chart builds itself. And instead of emailing files back and forth, everything has seamless cloud syncing. It's a total game changer. Section 2, the Power BI Ecosystem. Now that we know exactly why we need a new weapon for our data journey, let's look at the actual tools required to make this magic happen. Listen, Power BI is a heavy-duty analytical powerhouse, which means it demands some real hardware. It's completely exclusive to Windows. If you're on a Mac, you're absolutely going to need to run a virtual machine like Parallels just to open the thing. Plus, you really want a minimum of 8 gigabytes of RAM. If you try to run this massive data crunching machine on anything less, your workflow is going to be incredibly slow and frustrating. Trust me on that one. Let's define the two halves of this ecosystem because it trips up a lot of beginners. First up, there's Power BI Desktop. This is a local app you download to your computer, and it's totally free. This is where you actually build your reports and dashboards. But when you want to share that masterpiece with the world, that is where Power BI Service comes in. Service is a cloud-based platform you access via your web browser, and to really use its sharing features, it does require a paid pro license. Moving right along to Section 3, Importing and Modeling Data. Because, well, you can't paint a picture without your paint, right? Let's see exactly how we get our data into the system.
Getting our data ready requires a very precise pipeline. Whether you're dealing with a CSV file containing 500,000 job postings from 2024, or connecting directly to a massive cloud database with 3.6 million rows, the steps are always the same. You connect to the source, you transform or clean the data, and finally, you load it into your Power BI model.
This specific pipeline is universally known in the industry as ETL, extract, transform, and load. In Power BI, all of this heavy lifting, the extracting of messy data, the transforming of columns into the right formats, and the loading, is expertly handled by a behind-the-scenes feature called Power Query. It's essentially a highly automated cleanup crew for your numbers. Once your clean data is finally loaded in, you get to unlock some absolute superpowers using DAX. DAX stands for Data Analysis Expressions. It's a formula language, kind of like Excel formulas on steroids, that creates advanced custom calculations across your entire data model.
This is the secret sauce that allows you to instantly calculate an average salary across hundreds of thousands of dynamic records. Section 4. Building dynamic visualizations. What's really interesting about this next phase is that the hard work is largely done. We finally get to translate all those raw numbers into compelling stories. Let's get to the fun part. But hey, a quick pro tip before we build our first visualization. When dealing with things like salaries, always calculate using the median rather than the average. Why? Because data sets often hold massive outliers. For instance, in our 2024 tech jobs data, there is a single job posting listed at $920,000. If we use the average, that single outlier completely distorts reality and drags the whole number up. The median normalizes what you'd actually expect to see. Applying that median logic to some real 2024 job data, we can clearly see the hierarchy of pay. Data scientists take the top spot with a median yearly salary of $155,000. Following them are data engineers at $140,000 and data analysts coming in at $105,000. By dragging just two fields onto a canvas, we instantly have a perfectly clear answer. How cool is that? Now, balancing out that financial insight reveals a pretty surprising fact from the dataset. Despite what we hear online all the time, only 13% of these massive data job postings are actually listed as remote work-from-home positions. The vast majority, a whopping 87%, are on-site or hybrid. But here is the true magic of Power BI, the reason it leaves Excel in the dust. It's a feature called cross-filtering, and it is completely interactive. If you click on that 13% work-from-home slice, the Salony visualization instantly updates to reflect only remote jobs. It filters all the data on the page in real time, allowing viewers to drill down and explore the story entirely for themselves. Section 5. Publishing your dashboard. We've extracted our data, we've built our dynamic charts, and we have an incredible dashboard. It is time for our final victory lap, sharing our insights without emailing a single messy spreadsheet file. By simply hitting the Publish button in the desktop app, your dashboard is uploaded straight into the cloud-based Power BI service. This creates what the industry calls a single source of truth. There's no version 1 or version 2 final floating around your inbox. Everyone in the company logs in and sees the exact same, completely up-to-date information. The Power BI service gives you some unbelievable sharing power. With a Pro license, you can securely invite your coworkers to private workspaces to collaborate together. You can even embed the interactive dashboard directly into Microsoft Teams so your colleagues can view it without even opening a browser. Or if the data is totally public, you can just generate a public link and publish it directly to the web. So we've seen an amazing roadmap today. We've taken the incredible journey from a rigid, messy spreadsheet to a beautiful, dynamic, cloud-hosted dashboard. I want to leave you with this final thought. In a world completely overflowing with endless rows and columns of unreadable numbers, how are you going to upgrade your own data storytelling to finally leave those spreadsheets behind? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning and keep building.